Okay, folks, we're actually, according to my clock, 3 minutes late. Sorry, we were a little late in coming back up. We were in closed session. We do appreciate you all for being here and waiting for us. So, let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. I know they don't like this, but we have a gavel here for something. And we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And I think, Mr. Peterson, would you come forward and lead us in the pledge, please?
All right. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
I second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. The agenda is adopted. We do have a report out of closed session that I need to read here. In closed session, the board took action to expunge the past discipline record of a student who had successfully completed the rehabilitation assignment given to that pupil as allowed under Education Code 48917. Thank you for that. And now moving on to staff presentation and information. We will begin with Rachel. Dr. Dougal, do you want to introduce her one more time or let her go? Okay, go ahead, Rachel. Tell everybody which school you're from again, because they may not know.
Hi, everyone. I'm from South High, and I'm the ASB president. So on March 26th, we had our prom court assembly, which is introducing the prom court, and our prom will be held at the House of Blues on June 3rd. So we're getting ready for that with like decorations, invitations. We're thinking about that stuff. And then we just had our spring elections for our 4th period ASB class and our 3rd period leadership class. Right now, all the classes are picking their leadership reps, but the periods have selected majority of all the spots that are going to be filled next year. We are also going to have an event from May 25th to June 2nd called Scholar Quiz. Last year, the past ASB president, she introduced this idea where a bunch of students would form teams to compete against each other in like trivia questions, and then the top teams would compete against each other for a championship type of thing. So we're bringing that back again this year because it was very successful last year, but this year in the final round we're going to have the teachers compete against the students, so I think that should be pretty fun.
Yeah, let us know when that's going to happen.
I'd like to see that.
On May 24th, we will have our Spartan Laurels, which is a night that awards students for their academic achievements and recognizes students who also receive scholarships. And then we will also have our last class competition on June 9th. And I think I explained this before, where like all the classes kind of compete against each other in the gym. It's really fun for the school. And right now we're thinking of games for that. And the senior class is planning some activities for the end of the year because a lot of today was National Commitment Day, so a lot of people are already committed to like where they're going. So the senior class wants to do some activities to bring the class together like one last time. And then we will also we're planning to recognize our student athletes this year. So the seniors who are going to college for sports, we want to do something on the stage to recognize their achievements in that. And then we will also be helping Torrance High this semester with also the project that I explained before, how all our ASBs are volunteering at each school.
Cool. I wanted to let you know, Rachel, that after our last meeting, Dr. McDowell sent us the link to the lip dub. That was very cool. And I could find the S in most of the scenes. There were a few that I couldn't find, but that was very cool to see all of the students participating, but sort of in little sections, like you said. It wasn't everybody out there all at the same time,
It's
so.
very creative, too.
Yeah, that was really neat to see. All right, please feel free to speak up if things come along that you want to chip in on, okay? Next, we have good news. And we have students here to do some presentations from Carr Elementary and Magruder Middle School. And how shall we begin, Dr. Kim?
Thank you, President Reagans. It's my pleasure to introduce two of our student leaders from Carr Elementary School. Can they please come on up? Casey Babb and Ava Lawson. Let's give them a round of applause. Joining Casey and Ava are the principal of Carr Elementary, Mr. Peterson, and one of their fine teachers, Mrs. Jackson.
Good evening. I'm Casey Babb. I am Ava Lawson. We are fourth graders at Carr Elementary. Carr Elementary has a lot going on. Our school was the highest performing school in Southern California in Lakers Reach to Achieve program.
In all of Southern California?
Yep. We
will also participate in the district track meet.
We sure are, Ava. Carr Elementary is beginning the PBIS program. I am the student rep of the committee.
I heard the Northside Drama Club wants to help us make videos for the rollout.
Cool, huh? One of our teachers held an hour of code. We learned how to write code.
We should get good jobs one day knowing how to write code.
Last week we had our math festival, which focused on algebra.
Our parents could even come in the evening to try and play the math games.
Finally, Ava and I are two of 40 trained conflict managers at Carr Elementary.
We help kids work through conflicts at recess. Sometimes kids even help mediate issues between their parents.
We are Carr Cubs, thank you.
Thank you. Before you leave, ladies, wait a minute. Come back up for a minute. I have a question for you, ladies. So I also know that Carr has been under construction for a significant amount of time.
Yes.
How do you think that's been going? Is it almost over?
Yeah.
We have another building to build.
Yeah, they're just building the science lab.
Oh.
I think we're finished.
And that's not a bad thing to have to deal with for them doing that, but does it look better? Does it feel better? Is it nicer?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm just hoping it's worth it, because I know it's really an inconvenience for you guys. Couldn't play in all the necessary areas, I'm sure. Thanks for coming.
Yes, good job.
Thanks.
Yes.
And Dr. Dugal.
Good evening. I would like to introduce Sarah, Anthony, and Sahuk from Magruder Middle School. Come on up. We also have Principal Sheck and Assistant Principal Miss Lisa Nunes in the crowd as well.
Good evening, members, honorable members of the board, Dr. Mannon, members of the cabinet. My name is Anthony Lapari. This is Sohei Butt and Sarah Bowers will be speaking to you tonight about Magruder Middle School. So at Magruder Middle School, we were just awarded the California Gold Ribbon Award for our school. We had a team of academic leaders from Southern California schools take a tour of our campus and took the time to talk to teachers, parents, and students about what making our school terrific. Each month, teachers and staff choose students who they feel deserve recognition. Parents and the community are invited to join the exciting assembly, as students are given awards and acknowledgement for their positive contributions to our campus and their own personal academic and social success. Finally, one of the greatest things about Magruder Middle School is that everyone at Magruder has not only an opportunity to be successful, but is supported to fulfill their personal potential. We have a great number of interventions and supports to fill in where a student needs extra help. During the day, students can seek out extra help in AMP, Opportunity Room, and Study Skills classes. We have targeted classes for math and language arts interventions during the day and after school. And when the day ends, our learning does not, as we also attend Period 7 classes, which include MMA, our Math Academy, or receive extra help in reading through ELD support, and Achieve 3000. As one of my fellow students said, they won't let us fail here.
Hi everyone, my name is Sohaib Butt, and I think that what makes Magruder Middle School a very terrific school is the two leadership clubs that we have, Student Council, otherwise known as ASB, and Junior HRA. I'll start with Student Council. Student leadership is very important, and we have many opportunities for students to plan and organize a variety of events. All students who wish to be a part of our ASB can join and have an input on a variety of activities that set up to involve the entire student body. This year, we have had lunchtime games, scavenger hunts, and ASB is also in charge of Spirit Week activities. We work hand in hand with the Junior HRA team to make sure that there are a variety of activities, both social and academic in nature. Junior HRA. Basically, Junior HRA is the Junior Humans Relations Ambassadors. Junior HRA is a club that basically helps the students basically be recognized for their achievements, and they take care of the Student of the Month assemblies and event called No One Salon Day. Junior HRA also puts together a strong student academic success program, which includes our Renaissance program and the Student of the Month assemblies to celebrate our achievements. We also have a club called Career and College Club. Career and College Club is set up for students who are both leaders and ambassadors at Magruder. Junior HRA is basically involves Career and College Club students. Career and College Club has an event called College Week, and Junior HRA and Student Council helps with that. It is a week-long event that is filled with very fun activities involving college. That includes trivia and fun games. Thank you. Here is Sarah.
Hi, my name is Sarah Bowers, and I will be reading about the climate culture and some of the electives that we have. So first I'm going to talk about the climate and culture of our school. Many of us have talked about what is so special about our school. At Magruder, we have great gifts of diversity. Students have a variety of backgrounds, interests, learning styles, and needs, and we want to make sure that all students are successful and their needs are met. Also, at Magruder Middle School, we are one of the very few middle schools in TUSD who offer Spanish 1 for a high school credit on their campus. This year, we have over 75 total currently enrolled in this high school class who will be meeting USC or CSU requirements and high school graduation requirements. This allows our students then to take Spanish 2 honors as a 9th grade student. What's even more exciting is that half of these students are currently in 7th grade, such as myself, and will be eligible to take Spanish 2 honors in 8th grade next year. Creo que esto es muy bueno, or in English, I believe this is a very great program. We also have a number of clubs this year, and we started off with Club Day to find out what students are interested in. This year we have over 30 different clubs with a huge variety of topics. For students interested in science, we have the robotics team, Science Olympiad, Physics Club, and our newest Drone Club. To make sure that there's an A in STEAM, we have Art Club, Anime, Drama, and Movie Club for those who are interested in the arts. We do not want to neglect those who want to participate in physical activity, so we have the Fitness Club and athletic competitions at lunch, such as our Magruder Madness kickball tournament. Overall, we have a great variety of programs, clubs, celebrations, and interventions that makes it clear to me and my friends why Magruder was awarded with a gold ribbon as a school that gives us all an opportunity to reach our potential and have a great time doing it. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, very complete.
Yes.
Really nice to hear from you folks as to all the good things and the good news
And the good
that
news.
is happening at our schools. So you folks are welcome to stay with us, but we're going to move on to the business part of the evening. So if you need to go do homework, we understand.
Yes.
We'll give you a moment to go ahead and move on.
Yes. Good night. Good job.
What's wrong? You want to go talk to Jordan?
Students.
So just because the kids left doesn't mean there can't be still good news. Just want to make sure everybody knows that. We could still be on a positive bent here. Our next part of the meeting, though, is our unscheduled hearings. And in this portion, the Board of Education welcomes input from the public in order to discuss district business in an orderly manner for the privacy and safety of the speakers and to help staff respond more directly. Board policies require that public presentations to the board comply with certain procedures, including speakers to non-agenda items may address only items that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. Time allotted for such presentations is limited to 3 minutes. Total time allotted for public input on non-agenda items is limited to 30 minutes. A speaker may not relinquish his or her time to another. When addressing the board, speakers are requested to state their name, address the president from the podium, and adhere to the applicable time limits. Complaints against employees or students will normally be heard in closed session, and the district's complaint procedure should be followed before discussion with the board. The board may remove disruptive individuals and order the room cleared if necessary. Any person who willfully disturbs any public school meeting is guilty of a misdemeanor. Ed Code 32210. So having said that, we do have somebody who wanted to speak with us this evening, and that is Don Hamlin, I believe is the name. Yes. So 3 minutes, can somebody time for us, please?
Pardon my ignorance, I am confused by your statement regarding complaints. Is this not the appropriate time and place to bring a complaint?
Well, you know what, let me read that part again. Complaints against employees or students will normally be heard in closed session, which is the session we were in downstairs, so that there's some confidentiality and sort of careful consideration.
Okay, this is a complaint about a TUSD school teacher. I have nothing but praises for all the other years of my son's education, so maybe that is the better place to address this. How do I go about doing that?
There is a complaint procedure, and...
this is regarding my son.
Okay, Dr. Crumpy.
Dr. Crumpy will tell you exactly how to follow that complaint procedure.
She's our chief
Okay.
academic officer. She can lead you down that pathway.
Just for noted, my son is a disabled child at TUSD.
Appreciate your discretion. Thank you. Okay, anyone else want to speak with us or to us this evening? Okay. Moving on, we do have some discussion action items, and the instructions about these items are similar. If anybody wants to speak to any of these, if you wish to address the board on an agenda topic, you have 3 minutes per topic, and a total time for public input is limited to 30 minutes per topic. The board requires public presentations to the board comply with certain procedures, including the items that I just read above. And we're going to start with approval of proposed board policies update for March 2017 with revisions. Dr. Mannon had something he needed to add.
Thank you, Madam President. Before you get a motion, as is our practice in the district, when we have non-conforming policies, and non-conforming means it's not a CSBA policy, or there's an addition to that policy that's not CSBA, we bring that to you. Board Policy 1330 and Board Policy 5127, along with, and you'll see this later, Regulation 5121 are non-conforming. Mrs. Reagan's requested that those policies be more explicit than what the CSBA policies indicate. They, as our practice is, they were sent to legal. Legal reviewed those and then sent them back, so they meet all legal questions or issues.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Having said that, I will entertain a motion for,
I make a motion to approve and waive the second reading.
okay.
I'll second that.
So it's been moved and seconded that we approve the policies, updates, and waive the second reading. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No? Motion carried. Thank you. Our second item is to approve the excused absence of Board of Education member, and I probably should have noticed that and given note to that when we began the meeting, that Mr. Lee is not here with us this evening. He actually had a business conflict and was unable to be here, so I will entertain a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we excuse the absence of the board member, Don Lee. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. And now we need to approve the 2017-18 budget calendar and parameters. And Dr. Stowe is going to probably lead us. Oh, motion, please.
Motion to approve
Okay.
10.4.
Okay,
I'll second it.
okay, it's been moved and seconded. Now, Dr. Stowe.
Thank you, Ms. Reagan's members of the board. It's at this time that we bring the budget calendar and parameters with, for approval by the board. Currently, we are working with the guidelines of the LA County Office of Education with regard to developing our budget. We're doing enrollment projections, developing budgets for the school side as well as departments based on those enrollment numbers. And so over the course of the next couple weeks, we'll continue to wait for the May revise. At the May 15th meeting, we will be bringing you what I called previously the third interim. Remember, back in March, we filed a qualified budget, which means we need to provide the board with an update for the end-of-year projection that is for the current year that will be able to meet those obligations. It is not for the 3 years, which is the reason why we filed qualified in the first place, but that's per LACO guidelines. In mid-May through June 19th, we will make adjustments to the budget based on the May revise and the information that we gathered. We'll also be meeting with the budget subcommittee of the board to ensure that the decisions are in line with what the board intends for the budget. On June 19th, we will have our public hearing of the budget as well as the LCAP, the Local Control Accountability Plan, and then on June 26th, at the quarterly construction meeting, we will seek approval from the board for both the LCAP and the budget, and then submit it to the county on July 1st. The parameters for which we're doing all this work are, one, to maintain fiscal stability, and two, to ensure that we maintain a high level of student achievement with regard to addressing all the areas, the 8 state priority areas, through the LCAP development process that's being led by Dr. Crumpy.
Okay, any questions?
Yeah, are there any indications that anything has changed since, I guess, the second interim report? Or do we have any glimpse into the ball of doom about?
Based on our conversations last week, we do not believe there will be much of a change in the May revise. Mrs. Reagans was present when we were having a conference call. So therefore, those districts that have moved on with layoffs, those are probably pretty real. We are not doing layoffs this year, as all of you know, but I would suspect there's going to be very little change.
Yeah, unless something pops up that nobody could foresee, it looks like it's going to go on the way it was originally presented. Maybe a little tweak, but... Okay, so it's been moved and seconded that we approve the 2017-18 budget calendar and parameters. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Moving forward. On to our consent agenda.
In honor of Don Lee, I can make a motion to approve 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, unless somebody wants to pull something.
I have a couple of items I wanted to consider individually. Does anybody else have anything?
No, I have.
Go through each one real fast.
Actually, I just had two items, 15.4 and 17.4, that I wanted to look at individually, so we could do everything else.
Amend your.
I would like to amend my motion to exclude 15.4 and 17.4. Did I get the number right?
15 and 17?
15.4 and 17.4.
Okay.
But approve all the rest accordingly.
Okay?
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve all of the consent items aside from 15.4 and 17.4. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Lee would be so pleased.
Okay, motion carries. 15.4 is the approval to purchase ST Math instructional software.
Do you need a motion first?
Yes, you do.
We probably do. Thank you.
Make a motion to approve 15.4.
I'll second it.
Okay. And this is a purchase for 6 of our elementary schools for a cost of almost $200,000. I just wondered about the cost and why 6 and those 6, and just a little bit more information if we can.
Sure, I can answer any questions that you may
Or
have.
should we wait for Dr. Crumpy to have that?
I think I can
Okay,
answer.
all right.
So ST Math stands for Spatial Temporal Math. It is a supplemental math program that elementary schools have been using for approximately 5 years now. At this time, all of our elementary schools have been using it, with the exception of the 6 schools that are listed in the item.
Oh, okay, so we're adding those.
Correct. So
Okay.
now, with this addition, all 17 elementary schools will be using ST Math as a supplementary math program for their schools. It is pricey, there is no doubt about that, and that is the reason why these schools have not been able to afford it up till now. We actually did get some grants, and now with those grants, we'll be able to afford for all 17 schools to have this math program.
So that's my question. So each school pays for the license themselves?
Eventually, yes.
Eventually, yes.
But the startup cost for year one is very expensive, and so that is why, again, these 6 schools could not afford to do it until now. Once that first year is over, the cost drops dramatically for every year after of that.
Actually, that helps me a lot. And for the costliness of even the initiation, there's enough benefit to warrant that cost.
Yes, we do believe that there is a great benefit for our elementary students. Like I've said, this is a supplementary program, so it does not certainly take the place of the good teaching done every day in our classrooms by our teachers. But it also can happen before school, after school, as a supplement during class time, and students have access to it after school, on weekends, from home, anytime they like as well.
I was hoping that was the case.
It's a web-based program.
Yes.
right?
Correct.
What is so, I mean, it's a web-based program, what are these large startup fees for?
Well,
If I may ask that.
Sure.
Yeah.
It does mention some of that in here. So basically, initial implementation, it does include professional development, where the company comes out and does several trainings with the teachers. So that is probably the biggest single cost there. But it also has ongoing consulting, personalized support. And so, again, the first year it's very expensive, but then it's not bad after that.
And for the professional development, will these 6 schools be collaborating on that and creating opportunities as a whole or as individual schools?
They certainly could collaborate. I can tell you from past experience, I've sat in a classroom on a Wednesday afternoon during PLC time where there was teachers from 3 different schools there
Okay.
getting trained at that point.
Good. Okay. All right. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you. That helped me a lot.
Vote on it.
So it's been moved and seconded that we approve the ST Math purchase. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
And is this for 17.7 or 17?
17.4.
17.4. I make a motion to approve 17.4.
I'll second that.
I'm doing this in honor of Mr. Martsucci, because this is something that he always considered important to pull. And actually, I did have some questions. This is the Personnel Commission budget for this year. And even in looking at the, stop, even in looking at the increases from the last few years, this year is significantly more of an increase than in previous year, like $30,000 the previous year. This year it's $50,000 additional. Do you have any idea what's up with that, Dr. Stowe?
Yes. Well, one, there are a number of, the only increases in here are the step and column
Yes.
raises for the respective employees within the Personnel Commission. The largest chunk of increase, I think, is what you're seeing, the PERS rate
Same
increase,
as us. I wondered that.
which
if
is
that was-
which has increased pretty dramatically over the last few years. And so, you see specifically broken out column by column is the salary increase for step and column, and then the PERS increase. The other equipment operating expenses, those just basic
It's
supply
static, yeah.
costs are the same from previous
Yeah.
years.
So the employee benefits line is the one has the most variance, I guess, is the
Correct.
PERS piece that you're talking about.
Correct.
Okay, and that's the same thing we're dealing with in terms of the increase, that's increasing even faster than we all anticipated.
Right.
Wow, okay. That was it? Did I get a motion?
Yes, you did.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the Personnel Commission budget for 2017-18. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, all opposed? That passes that item. And moving on, wow, we are just rolling quickly this evening. Nothing in bond consent items or anything this one? I know,
I left it alone.
I know.
Mr. Rondo wasted
I
his
was, yeah,
drive,
he was
but
sitting here and waiting.
very long drive from where he
waiting.
lives, but
Okay. And,
there's very few things to discuss anyhow. I mean,
yeah. In our information calendar, or information section, we have the board calendar. All of our promotions and graduations are coming up, so check that out, as well as, some other fun things, concerts and end of the year things, so lots of fun stuff. And in 19.2, revisions to the administrative regulations that coincide with the, more often than not, with the changes in policies that we made earlier in the agenda. And now we have comments from members of the Board of Education, and first and foremost is the board's representative to SoCal Rock, Mr. Wormers.
We are still struggling with the process of deciding whether we can be a charter school, and we have a workshop scheduled for the 16th, and we're going to discuss whether we want to be a charter school or not. I don't think it's legal, but we're going to find out more on the 16th. So I've pointedly asked some rather direct questions on what our end game on that is, but I think mostly they're grasping for straws. They're seeing the end of their funding and they're getting a little nervous.
I would agree. Okay, anybody else on any of that? Okay. I do have a few things to just make comments. We have 20-year anniversary folks on this agenda, and there's 2 of them.
Wow.
That's a long time.
Yes.
We have Susan Gavin Navarro, an educational assistant at Seaside, and Angela Rivas, who's a nutrition services folk at Wood Elementary. 20 years of service. Thank you so much for being with us all that time. In the body of the agenda, there was a resolution proclaiming May 21st through 27th as Classified School Employees Week. So all those folks that keep our schools going and our buses running and our maintenance happening, those are folks that you need to pat on the back and thank you so much for keeping the schools clean and in good repair and for serving our students. And I appreciate them being here, and I wanted to make sure they got that little bit of accolade. This has been a busy week for me in particular. I don't know about you guys, but there have been a bunch of different events going on at our schools, and since we're talking about good news, I thought I'd bring some of them up. Our elementary STEAM fair was last week, and we got to see some marvelous projects from our elementary students.
Yes, that was nice.
Presenting and talking about their projects and sharing them with us that night. So we had science, technology, engineering, art, and math represented there. It was really a very nice evening at in the newly renovated Torrance Gymnasium. And then we had, as Dr. Mannon mentioned, we had a legislative action committee for the district. And I wanted to mention just a couple of pieces of legislation that are relevant to us. One had to do with CTE, potentially changing or extending or expanding upon the current grant program, which they're utilizing to keep themselves going at present, which would be a welcome, I believe, at least resource that they could look at.
Excuse me, Mrs. Reagans, what
yes.
number was that?
445.
Thank you.
AB 445.
Thank you.
And then there were a few pieces of legislation talking about the reserve cap and limiting the reserve cap and altering that limitation potentially into the future, which actually has come to roost a little quicker than we expected, because we have made a concerted effort to spend down our reserve, and we are within the required reserve cap and probably don't have enough on hand considering the downturn that's happening here. So, and then there's several things to do with budgetary items, and as we were just saying, there's probably not going to be much of a shift in terms of monies, additional monies coming to us aside from what the original governor's budget promised. Also, last week was the SoCal Rock Night of the All-Stars, where they offered scholarships to the SoCal Rock students, and we had 6 Torrance high school students, not from Torrance High School, but from the high schools in Torrance, that were awarded scholarships and that are going to be out there representing us in the larger world, going out and doing their thing and getting some money to do it, which is kind of nice.
Did you have a nice evening?
Yes, it was. It's kind of like old home week, because I had been away for a while. So I was visiting.
I'm sure they appreciated you as opposed to me.
They all noticed you weren't there, though. And actually, it was a night that was very, very busy. So there were a lot of sort of substitutes that were representing other folks, which was kind of interesting, too. And Assemblymember Maritsuchi was there, talking about potentially having talked the governor into coming down to visit at SoCal Rock. So we'll see if that comes to fruition or not.
That would be interesting.
I'm hopeful, yes. We thought that might have happened last year, and it didn't, so maybe this year. The Friday, we got to go to the Torrance Airport and see a STEM day for, again, high school and middle school students here in Torrance. And it was
busy.
Very exciting to see the wonderful technology and rocket launches and drones, and they were making airplanes and all kinds of neat things. And they had the large bombers in too, so the kids got to tour those. So, and we have some lovely pictures of Dr. Mannon in a teeny tiny little yellow helicopter.
I saw
but
that.
But he and the mayor fit in there.
They did. I know.
They did. So they were there too. And that was just a marvelous day. Thank you for everyone in the community that made that happen, in our school community as well as the larger community, because I know there were many, many entities and contributions and volunteers involved in that. Went really well. And Dr. Dougal was not able to be with us that day because she was in Fresno, actually at the zoo, I hear, receiving with the Sherry High School principal an award essentially honoring Sherry as an exemplary continuation school, which is really, really a high honor in this state. So we were very excited to have that honor and be able to receive that. And then, last but not least, this Saturday, we had our first annual, and I'm saying annual, first annual, TUSD Family Wellness Fair, right here in front of this building, with 40 different vendors and family activities, all promoting health and wellness and different resources in the community. And we had a wonderful turnout of people.
Great.
And terrific volunteers and a great spirit of just positive vibes and thoughts about doing good things for our bodies and our minds. There were yoga and meditation things, and Tai Chi and Zumba, and all kinds of things going on all over the place, so that was pretty cool, too. So see, there was lots happening.
You've been busy.
And I think that's it. But I do want to get a motion for adjournment, and we will adjourn in memoriam of a few folks. So if I can get a motion?
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. We will adjourn in memoriam of retired teacher Rosella Marie Wood and retired custodian Vicente Castaneda. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we are adjourned at 8:15. That is very early for those young people in the back.
Yes, that's record.
You got an early evening. Come on up and get everything signed. Anybody can sign for you up here. Oh, and there's Dr. Dooley. I didn't say hi to him.